so I'm going to introduce you.
Mhm.
So, ladies and gentlemen, obviously, this has been a very confusing time for all of us in terms of our current affairs and the election of 2024. And our good friend Colleen Kibert, who has been my mentor for several years now, has written a wonderful piece, and I'll let her introduce it. Also on your screen is Wallace Boss, who is Colleen's son. And so we're the only ones in this conversation at the moment. And I'm going to ask Colleen to read her piece. I'll put it up on the screen so everybody can read it. And
Thank you.
where did it go? Oh, wait a minute. I have the wrong thing up. I have to start again. All right, just a second. Trying again. Here it is. Okay, are you seeing this, Colleen?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Okay, you go ahead and introduce this as you wish.
Yes. What would C.G. Jung tell us about what is happening? He warned us 75 years ago that we would be in this position. And what is it that he warned us after visiting the United States a few times and lecturing at Yale, Princeton, and in New York City as well at NYU? His observations were that if the United States, which has such a good chance at having a true, real democracy, if it can avoid becoming so materialistic and so power-driven and so technologically driven that it doesn't catch up with itself emotionally or intuitively. And at that time, he warned that if we continued on this power, technical, materialistic trend, that we would elect a businessman, a blonde, blue-eyed businessman, he said. Wotan even was the word that he used to describe the person, in his words, to carry on. And so here we are. And now, after observing the debate last Thursday night, I thought that we had the picture of what Jung was warning us about. And so I sent this message to my Jungian friends. So we know Biden and Trump are carriers of our projections. The Republican project onto Trump their need to defy, to be gross, bully, be intellectually lazy, say no, and be led by extremism and the 2025 plan that they've told us about. And remember, Trump does what he tells us he's going to do. And now we have the presidential immunity problem that has become a reality. The Democrats project onto Biden a man who said all the right things. You know, I've heard that if you just read the transcript of the debate, that it makes very good sense and it sounds very good, but it didn't fly. And why is that? He said all the right things, even confronted Trump, but with no energy, no sense of self. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. We talk and talk and talk about the obvious. We say, can't they see reality? But our leaders have done nothing about it, but try to be rational, logical, legal. We are stunned, always surprised. Can you believe it? As though we never heard or saw it coming. That was, where was Joe at the debate? Stunned, glassy-eyed, jaw-dropped. Actually, there was no Joe. Only the object of our projections in a black box. No audience for him to bounce off of. that audience that would give us that energy that we think of when we think of Joe Biden. We try to deal with Trump in the courts. We try to be rational. Adam Schiff, be polite. Let the lawyers handle this. Maybe Liz Cheney will do it for us. Don't lose our obvious cool, but we are losing it, and perhaps we should. Where was the feminine at the debate? This was a big problem. No audience. There might have been some women's voices in the audience that might have helped, but the one woman, a moderator, did her job, kept her cool, but was the usual powerless position of a woman, outnumbered, great minority, one woman to three men, and insensitive and unfair imbalance of power that I think that our advisors, Joe's advisors, should be aware of these kinds of dynamics by now. However, now, by default, and perhaps even by some act of karma, we may get a woman president, an Indian Black American woman from the lowest rung on our social calendar. She isn't even a full-blooded Black.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
the lowest rung on our social ladder. You
Yes.
had read. Okay, you said
Yes.
calendar. So from the lowest rung of our social ladder.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
She isn't even a full-blooded Black. Perhaps then, now, women's issues will be first and foremost. I'm going to repeat that. First and foremost, when people begin to talk, when politicians begin to talk, they know that the women are going to run this election, can get the vote, but they never begin what they have to say about women. And yet, every issue, even inflation, can begin about the effect that it has on women who are not paid at the same rate as men, nor given the same support system. So let me begin. Perhaps then now women's issues will be first and foremost, rather than an also too, barely mentioned or often forgotten altogether. It's never as the foremost issue. Not really. Of course, Jung would see this imbalance, a sick outcome of the overextended masculine. I'm going to repeat that again because we know that Biden was sick that night. Jung would see this imbalance, a sick outcome of the overextended masculine. There he was. We saw it. Perhaps it's time for the feminine to take over, not in order to beat Trump, not even because both men have topped out and bottomed out, but because the strong feminine is needed. We can do it, and we deserve it. It's obviously high time and long overdue. There are no men left to do this. We haven't even suggested anybody yet. Not one has even been suggested. So we have Kamala Harris right here. She is already in position. She knows how to do this. Her background has put her in exactly the right position, a prosecuting attorney. She has already walked the talk. I believe she knows the game, what it takes to deal with a guy like Trump. Synchronicity and the creative process are working towards a necessary balance. Now I feel, how lucky can we get? Thanks for listening.
Wonderful. So do you want to embellish that, or are you satisfied with where we got?
That how lucky can we get?
Yeah.
Because she's paid for, she's been in the position for 4 years.
Yeah.
her
She's been
campaign is already paved the way.
right.
And David Axelrod put it well when he said, we got to get used to Kamala Harris, that we haven't seen enough of her, that she's been very active, working very hard, but the media is not covering her.
Right,
And we've
right.
got to start to see her so that we get used to her. I need to.
Right. And obviously we have to get away from this Biden age issue and get on to the issue that can win, which is the women's issues,
Yes,
women's rights issues, abortion, IVF, and contraception. All those
absolutely.
three issues are so important. And those are the issues that we have to hammer right up to the election. And um, and we have to get on with those rather than talking about Biden's age or even Trump's age. I
Yes,
mean, I
I,
mean,
I agree completely. Every issue, as I mentioned, affects women.
right,
And that's where we should begin. We got the vote 100 years ago.
right,
And since then we've lost what we've gained.
right. It
When we
seems
gain
so.
something, it's taken away from us. And now it's what else? What else? What else? It's on the docket to take
Right,
more and more away. Compared to other countries, it's hard to believe that this is the United States of America.
right. And the critical thing, it seems to me, is that we have to emphasize in the immigration debate what people don't understand about that. And even the people in red states don't understand it, is because of the growth of the country, we need 1.5 million new people, adult educated people or adult people,
Young
to
people, young people.
and young people to
Yes,
do the work of the country. Every year we need 1.5 million new people.
yes.
And you didn't see it maybe, but I certainly did, where our friend Tim Holmes went to get a bronze poured in a foundry up in Bozeman, Montana, a foundry that he had worked with for 30 years. And the foundry owner had 12 positions that he needed to fill, and he could only fill 5. He could only get 5 people to work at the foundry. And as a result, ultimately, he had to close the foundry down after about 40 years in business,
Yeah.
after doing all these beautiful bronzes over a great deal of time. And he simply couldn't find the people to do that work.
And
And
that work takes a special skill. We
surely,
have foundry here, and I've seen it, I've worked at it, I've had my work cast there. I know that these people have the skill, they have the touch, they have the artistic craftsmanship to do
mhm,
this kind of work. And they're just the people that we want to have come. In addition, a few years ago, I was in Mexico, and it was pointed out to me by the people of the Hispanic people in Mexico that the people that are coming bring with them a deep knowledge of caretaking the elderly. Now, come on.
yeah,
They
we real
know how to do this. They
right,
know how to do this better than we know how to do this.
right. And I've had many experiences in hospitals in the last 10 years or so. And what they do is they put the white nurses on duty during the day, and the new immigrant nurses whose English is so, um, they put on the midnight shift, so nobody sees them. But nonetheless, our whole healthcare system relies on them because they fill about 2/3 of the jobs. So it's just
Yeah.
an incredible travesty that we deal with this immigration issue in the way that we are. And
I think from a Jungian point of view, it's another situation to look at because they bring exactly the characteristics that we need, the humanistic characteristics, the people that have live through suffering that we in this country have been protected from.
Right.
They bring that knowledge and that ability. And so from a Jungian point of view, it's a balance that's sorely needed here.
Yeah. And one thing that I think we can say about America as the USA America always is that we have been importing the best brains of every society for 400 years. Okay, just think about it. About a large percentage of the doctors in North Dakota now are Indian American doctors. And so the Indians insist on this socialized medicine routine, and as a result, they don't make many openings for doctors, enough openings. But they're training lots of very, very capable doctors, extremely capable, and those doctors have no choice to practice their medicine but to go to the United States. And we have imported the best doctors from India, Pakistan, you name it, everywhere in the world have come to the U.S. Yeah. And so many of our ER doctors and so on are immigrants. And
we're frozen.
Yeah.
But I think we have our piece.
I seem to.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
You froze.
I think
Yeah, I'm
we've got
afraid
it.
so. I think we've got it. So let's
Yeah.
call it quits and go watch the Indiana Fever. Right.
Hey,
Thank you.
Skip, one other thing.
Yes,
Last night
ma'am.
we had our pop-up opening,
Yes, I saw that.
over 400 people
Wonderful, wonderful. We're on the
in
right
just
track.
2 hours. In just
Colleen,
2
we're
hours.
really on the right track. Absolutely.